We need more clothes than people living in tropical countries, but less than people living in Arctic conditions. Likewise, our clothing needs to be changed with the seasons. In summer, we need light clothing, while in winter, we need to muffle ourselves to keep warm. Yes. And second basic need for a human person is clothing, and this kind of clothing changes or varies according to the temperature or climate where we usually used to live. In those regions where the climate is warmer, there we have to use light clothing, and where the warmer weather is cold, then there we have to muffle ourselves by to keep us warm with the help of jackets or mufflers or socks or this kind. We also dress differently for other reasons. One which comes readily to our mind is fashion. We all know what it effects has upon the way we dress, but there are more other valid reasons for changing our style of clothing. They include work, sport, and ceremonial occasions. Obviously, if we are having such special occasion like Eid, then we will have a different kind of dress for that day instead of having that dress which we used to wear in our daily routine. So the fashion or the choice of dresses changes according to the way or according to the occasions. The third basic need that a human person has is shelter. So shelter is the third of our need, depends upon the climate, the skill of the builder, one's social position, and the materials available. So there are basically three needs discussed over here. First is food, second is clothing, and the third one is shelter. Now it's time to move towards the back exercise of this chapter. So very first one we have meaning and context. So the answer to the first one is fundamental is basic. Second we have essential, which is necessary. Deficiency, lack. Progressive, advanced. Contented, satisfied. Uninteresting, monotonous. Obtainable, available. Variety or selection, choice. Foreign or unusual, exotic. Moderate, temperate. Easily or quickly, readily. Well based or sound, valid. Magnificent, grand, not given, denied. Then we have to use the best explanation for each expression. In primitive countries means in undeveloped countries, option B. Could manage to live means could plan for living, option B. The same is true of the second of our human needs, mean what is said of the first need can also be of the second, option C. Then we have in Arctic conditions mean in a very cold environment. Material comforts means things that make life easy. Option B. Then we again have choose the best answer. So the very first one is what is malnutrition? It is not having the kinds of food necessary for health. Option C. With regard to food, what do people in advanced societies have in common with primitive people? They have the same need for food. They have the same need for food, option A. With regard to food, how are civilized people different from primitive people? And for the third one we have option they eat a greater variety of food, option B. In which regions do people have to wear the warmest clothing? Its answer is they need to do so in polar regions, option C. The fifth one is why would people in advanced societies not be satisfied with the simple shelter of the aboriginal? Its answer it is not designed and furnished in the way they want their homes to be. Option B. Now it's time to have question answers of this chapter. So very first one is why is food a basic human need? Food is a basic human need because without it we shall starve to death. How can we avoid malnutrition? We can avoid malnutrition by eating right amount of balanced food. Why do primitive people eat only the foods that can be grown near their homes? Now, its answer is primitive people ate only the food that could be grown near their homes because they were not aware of methods of transport and food transportation. What is the difference between needs and wants? How do we differ from primitive man in our food wants? Need is something which is necessary for living, whereas want is a desire or wish, without which we can survive. Primitive man is satisfied with less variety, but we want wide variety of food. What is fashion? How does it affect the way we dress? Fashion is a popular way of dressing. During a particular time or among a particular group of people, we have set certain style for different places and occasions. After this, we have question number 6. Explain why Work is a valid reason for changing our style of clothing. Giving a suitable example to illustrate your answer. Its answer is valid reasons for changing our style of clothing for work are number one is for the identification profession. Yes, basically, if we have a doctor, then the costume for the doctor will be changed. If there is a soldier, then his costume would be changed. If so, the variety or the changing of the style depends upon recognizes or gives us a reason for the identification profession. Second point is for uniformity. Third point is for age and comfort of the kind of job one is doing. For example, a soldier has to wear a composed dress. Question number 7. Give a reason for each of the four factors the writer says shelter depends on. Its answer is number 1. Climate affects the shelter very much. Second is a builder can make a shelter very good or bad. Third is the social position of the owner is noticed. And the last is materials play an important role in making of shelter. Last question is name three things that a modern house contained but an ancient palace did not. Modern house contains many of the material comforts like electricity, modern buildings material and gas that an ancient palace did not. So this is basically about this chapter which is human needs. So just do this chapter. It will be very interesting and enjoying for you. Thank you.